Hi, it's me again. I'm going to get off the political thing for a minute or two, and I'm going to talk to you about fathers' rights. Uh, there's a lot of women out there who feel it's justifiable to keep their children away from their children away from their fathers. And in some cases, they're right. Some of the fathers aren't any good for the kids, and I understand that. But there are also more fathers out there who are great for their kids. In fact, I know fathers that are actually better parents than the mothers. But because the courts are slow to change, the mothers are getting these kids. There's mothers out there working any shift you can think of, and they're getting their kids. There are fathers out there who want to have their kids, but because, well, in my case, because of the shift I worked, I wasn't allowed to have them. There are women out there who want the fathers to be in their kids' lives, and the fathers refuse. I've got no excuse for that because I'm not one of those fathers. I always wanted to have my kids around me, and even now that they're grown, I look forward to whenever I can spend even as little as 1 minute with them. I would spend all day, all week, all month, all year with them if it were possible. But they're all grown on their own, got their own lives going now. So I, had to take a step back and just let them live their lives and see them whenever it was possible. However, today I'm going to do something, and I'm not saying toot my own horn here. I'm not saying it to toot my own horn, but it's to show that I believe in allowing a father to spend time with their kids. I'm going to go in to my job several hours early to relieve a guy who didn't get to have his kids over Christmas, and he's having them today, which is the day after Christmas. Today's December 26th. And the good news is the mother of these children is not giving him a problem with seeing his kids. And that's awesome. My hat's off to her. There's a lot of women out there that do. They do give a problem. I've had them problems with one of my exes. And it was only once or twice, but it was because she was listening to someone who really shouldn't have had a say in it. Okay? Anyways, the thing is, there are fathers out there who deserve their children. And when you have a father for your children that deserves it, don't hold your anger for what he said or did, or for something that's minuscule. Don't hold that anger and use the kids against him, because you're harming the kids more than you are him. Okay? Yeah, you're harming him. Don't get me wrong. His heart's breaking. I can guarantee it. Mine did. I know it did. And they know what I'm talking about. The other fathers do. But I want you ladies to put yourselves in their shoes just for a moment and see what it's like to not be able to see your kids because of him. It's not stopping you. All right? When I had custody of my kids, I encouraged them to do visitation. All right? When the ex-wife had custody of those kids, she did not encourage it. And it broke my heart. I encourage fathers to be in their children's lives. The time that a father spends with the kids is something the kids will remember. The time that they're not allowed to spend with their kids, with their parents, rather, whatever non-custodial parent there is, the time that they spend away from them is also something the kids remember. And they know and they figure things out. So when you are divorcing or divorced, just plain separated, whatever, and you've got custody of the kids, encourage them to see the other parent. 2 reasons. 1, you won't be blamed for not allowing them to see the non-custodial parent. And 2, it'll help your kids be more well-rounded. And a well-rounded child is one that is able to succeed better in life. I got proof of that as well. If you knew my kids, you would understand. I've got 2. I've got 4 boys. 2 are succeeding in life. 1 of the other 2 is starting to succeed. because he's come to terms with how things were. He's figured it out, and I was able to spend time with him after he graduated, and I was able to influence him in a positive manner. I've got one who is so messed up right now that he's talking about his anxiety levels, and he's only 21. He doesn't know what anxiety is. So I'm going to suggest that if you're a non-custodial parent, you take time out and spend as much time as you can with your children. Ask for extra time. If they're young, ask to babysit if you have the opportunity. Ask, say, hey, I'll babysit. You go ahead and go out. I'll babysit. If you are the custodial parent, I want you to encourage your kids to spend as much time with the non-custodial parent. In other words, if you're the mother, encourage your kids to spend time with the father. And if you're the father, encourage the kids to spend time with the mother. Now, you know more than I do what your spouse or other half did and does. If that time with the other parent is dangerous for the kids, then obviously don't let them go. But be honest about it. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the kids, and be honest with the non-custodial parent. Give him or her the actual reason why you don't want them with the kids. And if you can't solve it, that's what the courts are for. And express your concerns with the court. And let him express your concerns with the court by answering them. The thing is, the kids need both parents. Regardless of who has them, the children need both parents. Because a father sees the world one way, the mother sees the world in another way. And solutions are always different, and the kids need to see these different solutions to different problems that they're going to run across as they become adults. And sometimes one way doesn't always work for that well as another way. Even though it may have worked well for you, it may not work well for them. And another idea from the other parent may work. You got to give them that opportunity. The only way the kids are going to realize that there are more than one way to solve a problem is to have both parents, to learn from both parents, to pick up the values of both parents. Like I said, if a parent is dangerous for a child to be with, then fine. Do not make that child be with that parent, but be honest about it. Don't make up excuses knowing that those excuses are lies. You're going to hurt your kids more. You're not hurting that parent as much as you are the children. Trust me on this one. I know what I'm talking about. I've been through it. I've been divorced twice. And like I said, the first two, doing awesome. My third one, which is with my second wife, he's figured things out, which is great. But the last one, my last son, he's having a rough time. And it's all because of the divorce and the fact that I had a rough time getting it so I can see him. I had custody of him for a while, and he chose to go back to his mother, and she chose not to let him see me. After he graduated, I got to spend time with him. No, right before he graduated, actually. I got to spend time with him, but it was too late. He was already screwed up so much that he couldn't, he's having a rough time functioning now. Allow the non-custodial parent to see the kids as long as it's safe for them. And be honest about it. Put your feelings away. Put your hard feelings aside. And think about what's better for them kids. Let them figure out what's wrong with their other parent if you have to. Don't tell them. Let them figure it out. I'll tell you what. My two younger ones, they figured it out. My two older ones, they figured it out. They see the good and the bad in both the parents. I'm not perfect. I told my kids that. I'm not perfect. Okay? I'm not. I will never be able to claim perfection. I am far from perfect. I've made mistakes with my kids, with my life. What you got to do is pick up and move on. But one of the mistakes I was refusing to make was preventing them from seeing their parents. I went as far as to allow my first ex-wife to move in with me when my second ex left, just so she can help take care of the two older boys. I swallowed my pride. I swallowed my dignity. And I took the ridicule, but it was best for the kids, and that's what I did. And yes, her husband came with her. And yes, they had children as well. We had a full house here. Okay, I had 12 people living in this house at one point. Okay, now that they're grown, everybody's gone. It's just me, the girlfriend, and her daughter. But the point is I took the time. I gave the time, and I allowed them the time they needed to be with their parent, their non-custodial parent. And I wanted the same in return, and I didn't always get that. I'm asking you, my viewers, to allow your children the opportunity to be with their other parent. Enough about that for now. Have a good holiday.